Hello! Ugh. And a good Friday to all of you, my darlings, my lovelies. Welcome back. Let's see, is all my audio working? Yep, according to this, the microphone is catching. Sometimes it's hard to tell when I don't have any other sources of sound playing. I get very, like, is it quiet? Is it just me? It's just me. It's been a week, as it always is. And of course, it's November, which is the beginning of seasonal depression for me. Hooray, the next 6 months are going to be wonderful. And of course, preparing for holidays, as I am in America, and Thanksgiving is coming up. And lately, I'm the one who mostly hosts, because I make a great turkey. But I'm not making a turkey this year because the people that actually enjoy turkey are not coming this time. They have other plans with other family. It's no slight against me, it's just rotation. But yeah, I learned how to cook a really good turkey because a few years ago, actually when it first aired, I saw the food theory episode, back when Matt Pat was still the host, talking about spatchcocking a turkey. And I will always call it spatchcock because that's a really fun word to say. I will not say that I butterfly the turkey. I say that I spatchcock the turkey. That's the only way I have ever cooked a turkey, and it is currently the only way I ever will cook a turkey because I am very good at it. Plus, it's interesting having to cut out the spine and then crack the rib cage so it lays flat. But the benefit is, I don't have to be up at 5 a.m. to get a turkey on the table by 2. That bitch is in the oven for less than 2 hours. That's one of the ways I will address it. It's like, here is my sub 2-hour turkey. And you know what the funniest thing is? The absolute funniest thing about this? I don't like eating turkey. I don't like poultry. I think it's very dry. Even when I'm told, oh, this is such a juicy bird. How do you do it? I'm like, yeah, it just tastes like damp sandpaper. Maybe I'm just a plebeian. Who knows? But regardless, I have to plan that out. Since I'm not going to be doing a turkey, I'm just getting a ham. Because the people that are coming over very much enjoy ham. And then I'll have some kind of vegetable dish, a potato dish, maybe another root vegetable, and a grain. Pumpkin bread. Definitely making pumpkin bread. That's my favorite thing to make for Thanksgiving. It's good stuff. And also the best part about this time of year, I have no fucking money. Yeah. Best part was in very big air quotes. Sorry, these paws don't exactly articulate for me to show that. This is the most I can do. Actually, no. This is the most I can do with my paws. And even though this is an ASMR channel, I will not be doing ASMR for eating honey like that because I don't hate you guys. I'm sure there's at least one person out there that would love to have the sounds of a bear eating honey in their ears. I'm not one of them. And if I'm not one of them, I can't appreciate it. And if I don't appreciate it, I'm not going to make it because I'm not going to be making it with love. And the listeners that do like that are going to tell. They always do. Because I'm also one of those people. I can tell when something is not made with love and it will suck. Alright, I guess enough preamble. Time to get back to Lobotomy Corporation. I am gonna do poorly in this, I know for a fact, because yesterday I browsed through the... Actually, not. Let's just move on. I'm still gonna have to have a little issue doing this, but bear with me. Here we go. One of these days I'm gonna get a stream deck, and none of y'all will have to worry about looking at all this behind the scenes stuff ever again. It's just gonna, let's see, do I move properly? Yeah. I like to make sure that, you see, I can get cut off if I'm leaning this way, but if I get cut off leaning this way, it just looks weird. I have to help the immersion. That makes it fun. Alright, move some things around. And boop. I'll turn on the sound in a second. Hey. But first I just wanted to, like, look at this. This is the manual. This is all the info stuff. Look at all of this. There is so much. So much. Like, how does anyone just be able to jump into this? It's going to take me forever. And I will admit I didn't play a lot this week because I didn't want to have any interactions that would be, kind of fun and have y'all miss out on that. Especially since, the voices. And of course I completely miss. Alright, well, if this is the way we're going to do it, may as well get to it. Main menu. Yeah, let's get the sound on. It always throws me off that I have to click because I'm just waiting for it to load. Like, what you doing? Where are you? Okay, I think that should be an okay amount of volume. Yeah. Continue. Oh, now it does. Ugh. Well, that's annoying. So apparently, if I choose that you can't show the cursor for one type of window, that will, oh wait, no, it's still, oh my goodness. Like I said, if it's not one thing, it's another. Every time. Every time. Alright, because I do want you guys to be able to see the cursor so you know where I am pointing. That will help for your end. Alright, so thought we already figured out that these guys were the Welchiers. Alright, so let's hire somebody. Katya. How many lobs do we have? One lob. Alright, well, hire. Ooh. Gonna get you. You know what? All of you. You all get to join the control team. See, I thought we already... Alright, I'm just gonna keep to the side because since this is so dense, oh my god, so dense gameplay, I've got 2 cheat sheets. I've got one that tells me the threat level, since they pretty much go by SCP rules and just making up new names for them, which is fun. But how do you keep it straight without full-on memorization? And then the agent virtues, which apparently comes very much in handy for when they fall into a panic. In fact, let's see, what was it? F1? Yes. Was it emergency employee panic? So I thought if I have someone like with high prudence, that would work, because excuse me, it increases the work speed and the success rate. Wonderful combination. Guess what? If someone with wait, no, not prudence, temperance. If someone with a high temperance panics, they're gonna go wandering. Someone with high fortitude panics, they're gonna murder. High prudence, suicide. High justice, compromising containment units. That is a danger I was not aware of before. I am very nervous. Let's get into it, because death and chaos are all around. So we don't have a lot of info on these guys, so probably select work. And whichever one we choose is actually, what that affects is the employee skill level. So let's work on repression, because why not? Very slow. Well, this will help your speed, so let's get on that. And let's get someone over here. Work speed. Alright, so I do like this way. At the very least, we're gonna have people just figuring things out. And so it goes through various things and either succeeds or fails. Again, this is just from me rereading the manual, which hurt my little brain. Because just so much. Okay. Unique PE boxes. Let's see, which one is that again? Aha. So we have 6. May as well. 2, 4, CX. Upon completion of the work in progress, a canned beverage is discharged from it. Alright, I know for a fact I unlocked this before. Did I just not save properly? It must have been. Alright, type of beverage that is submitted. Okay, so depending on what I put them in for will be reflected in the soda they give. Why you would drink a soda from a pair of seemingly sentient shrimp? I don't know, but this company is weird. Alright. A red drink can is emitted. Oh, W1, W2. Employee who ingested the beverage said it had a distinctive aroma and sweetness and expressed a feeling of heightened energy. Alright, that's annoying. I'm trying to use the scroll wheel and it's... I should stop bitching. Just have fun. Alright, so this time let's do some insight and... let's have you. How low did you go? Ooh, 16 PE boxes. Escape information. Non-escape, lovely. One sin and hundreds of good deeds will restore the employee's mental state when the work result is good. Rhino, who received this benediction, commented that it felt refreshing. After the maximum number of PE boxes was produced with one sin and hundreds of good deeds, it restored the mental health of every employee in the department. Very nice. Ooh. So, and I can start getting weapons and suits. Is there anything else to unlock with this guy? Oh, this. Of course. I unlocked these and didn't get this, which should be... oh, yeah. So insight is very easy to get all this stuff. Okay, so probably have another person sent in there for insight. Yeah. Let's have you. Really? You know what? Just get this done. Oh, so instinct and insight would be pretty good. So let's have that. We're gonna do some instinct. Get Genie in here. Zoom out a bit. So I don't think we're doing terrible so far. It is a bit slow going. Really? The last couple times we did one sin and hundreds of good deeds is that produced like a good amount. Get that out. Ooh. So attachment is really good to work with here. Anything else unlockable? Alright, so I can like immediately manufacture these from the get-go. Alright, so next one. 6 again. Common. Alright, so these Alright, so pretty much we can do a lot of things with the Welchiers. Sure. Who could use a boost in Temperance? Jeannie could. And you are about to have your thing go off. Okay. 17, 18, 17. And you know what? You. This thing's gonna go off soon. Really? Okie dokie. Let's get the unique PE boxes taken up. Basic. See? The Welchiers. Opened can of... Wait, what? Opened can of Welchiers? So it's not the shrimp? It's the can? What? Okay. Alright, well, I can dig it. And you? We're gonna do... Oh, 0 of 5 need 15. Need 10. Yes! Give me that ego suit. So endured. Ooh. So it's good for everything except for pale attacks. Everyone looking good? Everyone feeling good? Complete. S rank. 3 rewards. Everyone's here. Nobody's dead. Huzzah. HP went up. Speed. HP. Okay, I need to do more with Nox. Doesn't look... I did not do anything with Nox. I am so sorry. Yes, proceed. That is why I clicked that button. Ooh. She was so talkative before, yet in the end, loneliness was the only listener. People have been committing sins since long ago. Why do they commit sins, knowing it's wrong? Isn't that one sin in hundreds of good deeds? Do you get duplicates here? You see a song in front of you. It's approaching, becoming more colorful by the second. See a song. Ooh, how is that personified? I wonder. This, however, piques my interest. Greetings, manager. It marks 3 days now that you have worked here. The number 3 is a mysterious one. In age-old fables, it is common for a mysterious entity to appear and tell the protagonist to utter 3 wishes. Sadly, I am not a mage or billionaire that can grant your wishes. However, I do happen to know what your predecessors wished for. There were many aspirations. Common among them was the seeking of some kind of growth. To lead the company to prosperity, to achieve spiritual maturity, you name it. Each had wanted to flower in a different way. Which of those 2 would you want? For the company to prosper, mature my spirit. Well, with the state of the world, I say fuck capitalism. So, mature my spirit. I'm gonna go the spiritual route. Come to think of it, there was another manager who gave me such an answer. As you know, spiritual is a rather obsolete term in today's world. Fuck no, it ain't. So I asked them for the definition of spirit. Then that manager told me. Well, I unfortunately do not recall the details of that conversation. I'm calling bullshit. You are an AI clanker, you must remember. Even an AI cannot store every bit of data. Unnecessary information should be deleted for smooth operation. Press X to doubt. I mean, hell, I just got myself a... How big is this thing again? Alright, I lied. I didn't get it for myself. So I requested it, and it was gifted to me. It is a 5 terabyte external hard drive, because as I make more of these videos, I'm getting more and more data collected. And I need a bigger storage unit, so... Bullshit, you don't delete it, you move it! So you may be asking yourself if your predecessors managed to fulfill their wish. I suppose what happened to the others is not important after all. Shady. I do promise to cheer you on for the journey to your final goal, though. Alright, well, gonna have to expand the control team. I guess this one. Hold on, I must lubricate my throat. Oh, that's cold. Good day, manager. Would you like to expand the control department? Confirmation. Alright. Oh, and the fact that these are says Zayn, that is one of the threat levels, and it pretty much says that they're harmless. So if something goes wrong, they aren't going to do anything. Probably don't need a 5th hire yet. Although, yes. Let's see, how do I do this again? Aha. Oh, and I can only put one person in because they only have one. That's very different from the tutorial. Okay, so... Oh, here we go. Penitence heal, SP plus 10 with 5... conventional fires ineffective. Using them was as futile as cutting water with a knife. That was when we asked ourselves, if abnormalities are materialized from the unconscious, it may be possible to extract a piece of it back from them and turn it into a weapon. Results vary depending on the observer. The crown of thorns will sometimes protect the wielder's soul. The thorns may momentarily hurt as they anchor your soul to reality. The suit will be no better than rags to those who have no sense of guilt. Well now. Let's see. Okay, so it affects the move speed. It also makes them vulnerable to pale. Well, so does their usual uniform. You know what? Let's give it a Nox. Because I neglected Nox last time. Oh, and it's... Oh, interesting. So I haven't looked at the others. Actually, I have my phone right here. Let's see what these... So I did look up and see that Asiya was the name of the Pharaoh's wife who rescued Moses from the reeds. Ah, yes. So Bria is a Jewish mystical concept, Hebrew word for creation. Word for creation. Is that like what was written into the brow of the golem? Okay, so there's so there's a lot of Jewish mysticism used in this, somewhat similar to all the Christian mysticism that was used in Evangelion. So, alright, we have Nox in a very mighty suit. So, let us begin. Alright, what is this? What are you? So this was the thing that we talked about with loneliness at the end. Guess what, Nox? You're gonna. That's gonna be your designation. You. And I'm just doing this willy-nilly because I ain't got nothing better to do. You. Oh my goodness, and there's... And this is as far out... Alright, good work results, so that's my goal for the day. Oh, lovely, so that's gonna... Oh no. Oh no. I don't know old lady's threat level. Oh no. Oh no. And yet I must wait. Ooh, yay. This is good at least. You were meh. How you doing? So can't do much with that for now. How you guys doing? We got 8. Escape information. Definitely want that. Non-escaping. Excellent. So I need 4 here, and then I think like 15 and 10. Okay. And what about you? Wait, what? Wait. Oh, you're not done yet. My mistake. Please go on. As of this moment, you have accumulated exactly half of the energy needed. Well, to be technical, there is no such thing as exactly half of energy. Energy is formless. The phrase, exactly half of the energy, is a contradictory statement, completely without reason. In other words, you cut off the broadcast. Yes! Shut up! Alright, so we're doing well. That's good. Now, of course, we are 1 away. Alright, I'm not going to do anything because, mark my words, I try to do that and it's going to be unavailable for me. So, oh, sorry. Select work. Attachment. And we will do you. Insight. Use you because you have faster work time. Again, I'm just doing whatever. And we'll send Nox again because she needs more busy work. Okay. Alright. So these 2 don't escape. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so you got some stuff done, but you only have 8, so I can't do anything with that. You were building up nicely. You've got that. Wow, you take a long time. Alright, let's get some weapons in. I wonder if I should also give that to Nox so she has a nice set. Control team. Semper Fi cleared. Ooh, we're almost done. We have enough energy, so collection and Can you let me finish, woman? Alright, and let's at least get your information. I don't like that. Sorry, microphone, sorry. Oh God, I can't look at it. It's like something out of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. And she's actually a threat. So if something goes down, ooh boy. And she will damage Fortitude, which will damage Sanity. So if she does some harm, someone's might try to off themselves. Let's try to not have that happen, shall we, folks? And I have 9, so let's see, insight rather. Okay, so should be relatively okay to clear that, but today is cleared. Everyone is fine and dandy. Yay! 4 alive, 0 dead. Alright, so Jeannie is improving, Nox is improving, Kana is improving. Kana can probably have some more work, although... Damn, you're fast! Proceed. Ooh, now the good stuff. Eventually, intellect loses all meaning as they forget how to exist. Excessive aspiration would bring about unwarranted frenzy. That sounds like a cogito hazard. Many of those who underwent an operation inside the machine have found themselves rested and healthy again. Ooh. This one, because it sounds good and creepy. Do you take pride in what you do here? If not, this recent news will likely change your mind. After your arrival, the rate of energy output has increased by 13%. If you still don't feel the significance of this figure, then let me add that it's a record-breaking percentage. How do you feel? Sure, let's give an answer that'll appease her. I can take pride in that. Ever since you began working here, the company has been taking strides in improvement. This means you are performing your role well. This shows that there should only be good news to come. A machine such as myself doesn't flatter easily. You shouldn't flatter at all! It is good to know that you're happy with your work. I remember your face the very first time you came here. You were so withdrawn. Sorry. Oh, I keep hitting the mic stand. I'm sorry. I like to be super cozy in my chair. You were so withdrawn. Face all gray and grim. Have you seen the state of the world? Can you blame me? And you were all nervous about my presence. I'm still nervous. Don't worry. It's okay for you to be happy now. Today's a rather special day. Do you see that bottle of champagne on the table? Allow me to pour you a glass. Shall we toast? Today's occasion is not something as monumental as someone's birthday or the company's day of founding. You lost in a... When did that happen? When did that happen? You lost an employee for the first time yesterday. In fact, many more shall follow. Oh my god! Aren't you just a glimmering ray of sunshine? I'm telling you this just in case you were unexpectedly shocked by the news. They had known the risks from the beginning. The company grows, fertilized by their sacrifices. It's as simple as that. I am sure they would have felt proud of themselves as they took their final breath. Accepting their deaths with equanimity would be the greatest respect you can pay to them. You know, as big as my vocabulary is, I've not actually encountered the word equanimity. Equanimity. Mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. Okay, so a kind of stoicism, so to speak. That is why I popped this bottle of champagne I've kept for so long. 3 cheers for the deceased, in memoriam of their noble sacrifices. Okay, so I can either drink the champagne or say, I don't want to drink right now. Speaking of drink. I'm gonna choose to drink the champagne, if only because, you know, you got told that some of your employees are dead and more are going to die. You might want to start hitting the bottle of whatever you have. Allow me to give you a small bit of advice. To properly drink a glass of champagne, one should gently hold the lower stem of the glass and then take it in lightly, savoring the bubbles. Perfect, just like that. You did it again. Let's see. Getting into this voice can be tricky. You did it again, and you did it flawlessly too. I myself have a lot of work to do. If you look at my notebook, my to-do list is always so full. But I know I can get through it. I should do my best, like I always have. I know I'm slower than the others. I always have to check my list or I'll miss something important. That's why I have this notebook with me all the time. Can't leave any mistakes, you know? I've been carrying it for so long that it's almost worn out. It's been with me ever since I began working here as the Sephira of the control team. I know Lady Angela worries about me from time to time, but I've got everything under control. I feel like this is the kind of life that I've been yearning for ever since a long, long time ago. Maybe even before I was capable of thinking. What would the before time for an AI be like? Because like for a living being, the before time would be like while in the womb. What would that be for an AI? This is a question that's going to haunt me. It feels as if I've wished for the same thing before, in some other place that wasn't the control team. What's the music doing? I don't like this. I don't like a change of music with a change of facial expression. It doesn't bode well. Malkuth, please finish the report I requested by the end of today. Sure thing, boss. I've got it right here on my list. I'll have it turned in by the end of the day. Well, I should get going now. It's a pleasure talking to you, manager. The AIs here, they're all unstable, with the exception of me. Hal 9000? GLaDOS? You're reminding me of both of them. You are going to be the most unstable. Mark my words. It's especially bad for Malkuth. You've noticed, haven't you? I can't complain, though. It only makes it easier for me to control her! Yeah. Alright, control... Oh, no. Now comes the true trial by fire. As you may know, our facility isn't really the most stable thing. We're only able to keep the abnormalities contained thanks to the cliff-off deterrence, which we briefly adjust down just before the workday begins. But this deterrence becomes unstable as time goes on, and eventually, some abnormalities may undergo a meltdown. Alright, complete 8 work processes in containment units under cliff-off. Alright. Good day, manager. Would you like to expand the control department? Well, I don't really have anything else I can expand. Oh yeah, more protocols. Alright, game speed. Order agents to work in other departments. Well, I don't have any other departments yet, so let's work on the game speed. Yes. You know what? Just to be safe, let's get a new hire. Oh, first, I have a weapon. Ooh, short range. Ooh, +2 justice. So let's get someone with a good justice. Justice 1, Justice 1, Justice 1, Justice 1. Well, who's got it the highest? Alright. Jeannie gets to have the weapon. Because that makes the most sense. Let's also hire somebody. Sure, Yui. Oh wow, you know what? keep it as is. Keep it as is. Yeah, we're gonna give you that. Can I just... Oh. Yes. Get you nice and boosted. Welcome to the team, Yui. No, I... Begin! Alright, where's the new thing? What is you? A floating eyeball. Okay. Ooh. You know what, Yui, you get to be the first one to experience this. And let's investigate the old lady. And we're gonna have you. And you. You. And you. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing at all. Maybe eventually it'll click. Today is not that day. Oh, this person's oh wow, that's a lot of failure. This is good. Dude, how did you bungle it so bad? Alright, you're good. Behavior adjustment. Oh, and you're a Teth threat level 2. Goody. Oh. Oh. Wait. This is an object? A weapon? Okay. An electronic device with a mysterious symbol engraved into it. Equipable. Stats regarding justice will increase greatly when behavior adjustment is equipped. However, all stats regarding prudence will drop at the same time. Interesting. And old lady. Alright. Ooh. So that's gonna be very useful to have. And last 3 on the managerial guidelines. When an abnormality other than old lady was worked with, the cliff-off counter lowered. Oh. Alright, oh. Returning. Wait, who was working on them? Where'd they go? Oh, goodness. Alright, let's work on the old lady some more. Oh, well, wait. When did work time get so high? Let's do you. I'm trying to level up some of these people. And we're gonna get... Wait, a gun? A soda gun? Yeah, we're gonna get that. And managerial guidelines. Purple drink is omitted. Composition exactly the same as other grape flavor. Okay, so pretty much just... What? Who? Wait, was it you? What do? What do? Oh, this. Okay, so... Okay, it's since you're non-escaping, you should technically be fine, I guess. We're just gonna leave you alone. We're gonna let you have your tantrum. Okay, definitely, she still recognizes the presence of Katya. Oh, Katya's doing very well. Where'd it go? Was it you? probably stick with temperance for her. Wrong button. We'll do Genie. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. And you guys, let's do Insight just because I really like using it. You all done having your widow tantrum? Are you done now? You feeling okay? You want some attachment style? You want some attachment style? Alright, so you... Hey, you wait. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. So those two are down. Ooh! Half the energy needed, blah, blah, blah. Ooh. Excellent. Anything else? We got that. Blue drink. Found too effective in restoring mental strength. Lovely. And I can't do anything else with you lovely little soda. And for you, we will get more eco suits. Yeah, old lady. And you, we decided, alright, yeah. Purple. We will do this because I think the longer time we spend with them, the more well off we might be. Maybe? Let's just get some more. Oh, let's not do that. Even if it is something that can't leave, shouldn't. Ooh, second level. Okay, and it's with the open can. So they're just being cranky and having a temper tantrum. Alright, darling, leave. You have to be careful of this. Okay. We'll finish getting all of these and apply as needed. Yes. Old lady still being worked with. Get the gun. Alright. Ooh, old lady happy. Very nice. Alright, escape information. What is your deal? Oh, good. Non-escaping. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Alright. Then the cliff-off counter reached 0. Black shapes formed inside the containment unit. Mean like this. We've decided to dub these shapes Solitude based on the condition in which they form. When the Solitude piled up, it stuck to Sobin when they entered the containment unit. When the Solitude piled up, it stuck to Sobin... Alright, yeah. Chloe had to deal with continuous white damage until the Solitude eventually fell off. Until it was gone, they could not move or do any work. Okie dokie. Alright, everyone out? Everyone all good? Let's get everyone here. No? Alright. Alright, so I guess we can just... Wait. Oh, I thought we were already at the end of the day. Oh well. Just keep doing old lady. We will do the shorter time now. Actually, Angela said that we could just do whatever and still get energy and all that good stuff for everybody. So let's do that. Okay. 3rd level. That ain't good. Alright. So she is still definitely the most threatening. Come on, Yui. Come on, Yui, you can do it. You are doing so great, Yui. Wow, he's actually really doing a good job for this part. All right. Wait, but he did good. I mean, look at that. Look at that. How can you just say that was okay? Not then. Oh. That's a lot. 30 and 20. Damn, girl, you expansive. And you... 15, 10. I'ma milk you for all you're worth. I can't do any more of those. So let's get a soda soup. Wait. It said that what happened? Was it because we hit this that I lost energy and shit? You. Let's see if we can get enough, and then I will just end the day. I will end the day. You will make me free. Wait, now it's going down more? Where's it going? Oh, God. Ooh, the old lady that got some solitude brewing. No one's going in there. Alright, seriously, where is that energy going? Why is it going down? Is it from, like, places that I move? God, this game is so dense. I think this might be the last night I play this because I'm having trouble finding enjoyment. And as I've mentioned before, if I'm not having fun, you guys are going to pick up on that, and that's no fun to watch someone who's not having fun. Like, why? Why would we do that? Still gonna leave the old lady alone. Alright, they have a temper tantrum until someone shows up. That's what I'm gonna call the meltdown. They're just temper tantrums. Alright, and yes, end. Yeah, 14 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna say save. We're gonna, no, save. Yeah. Our founder, A, has said this to me many a time. Each successful experiment makes you a better person. The greatness of this company was founded on multitudes of trials and hardships. So you too shall become great. Each day in the company is another small experiment towards shaping your life for the better. How has your day been today? Well, of course it was fine. Let's spare the pleasantries, no? Manager, how has your life been?
An absolutely horrid one. Nothing spectacular, just okay. It could be better. It could be better.
I cannot see the color of your life as you do. While I am unable to console you with empty words such as, "That's not true," many things will change while you are here. That much is clear. This is a simple metaphor, but the seed of a tree will not grow just anywhere. It requires fertile soil, the right temperature, and fresh water. However, most seeds fall on barren soil. For those malfallen seeds, stretching out their roots and spreading even small leaves are challenges full of pain. I cannot provide you with water or sunlight. However, I will do my best to tend to the soil.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that just... that's pretty unceremonious in how it just blacks out. Okay. How about we get to something a little more chill? Okay. Whew, nice and comfy. Yeah, as I said, I'm actually not much of a fan of this game, so I might try it on my own time, but I think I'm done streaming it. Alright. But it is now 11 o'clock, and now time for the good shit. Time for Yell's bedtime story. So this week, I am reading I Have No Mouth, and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. And I actually did do a recording of Am's hate monologue. You can see it on in my videos. And I'm really proud of it. I did the radio drama version of it, in which Harlan Ellison himself, the author, did the voice of Am. So if you want a true representation of author's intent, you can't get much more clear than that. And I had so much fun doing that audio. You probably can't hear it because of the voice mod I did to make it sound more, computery and robotic, but I was spitting so much recording that because I was just all teeth, just so much teeth trying to record that. But anyway, on to the story. And I hope I can do it justice because the narrator is male, so I hope you will forgive my femininity. All right. Limp, the body of Gorrister hung from the pink pallet, unsupported, hanging high above us in the computer chamber, and it did not shiver in the chill, oily breeze that blew eternally through the main cavern. The body hung head down, attached to the underside of the pallet by the sole of its right foot. It had been drained of blood through a precise incision made from ear to ear under the lantern jaw. There was no blood on the reflective surface of the metal floor. When Gorrister joined our group and looked up at himself, it was already too late for us to realize that, once again, Am had duped us, had had its fun. It had been a diversion on the part of the machine. 3 of us had vomited, turning away from one another in a reflex as ancient as the nausea that produced it. Gorrister went white. It was almost as though he had seen a voodoo icon and was afraid of the future. "Oh God," he mumbled and walked away. The 3 of us followed him after a time and found him sitting with his back to one of the smaller chittering banks, his head in his hands. Ellen knelt down beside him and stroked his hair. He didn't move, but his voice came out of his covered face quite clearly. "Why doesn't it just do us in and get it over with? Christ, I don't know how much longer I can go on like this." It was our 109th year in the computer. He was speaking for all of us. Nimdok, which was the name the machine had forced him to use because Am amused itself with strange sounds, was hallucinating that there were canned goods in the ice caverns. Gorrister and I were very dubious. It's another shuck, I told them, like the goddamn frozen elephant Am sold us. Benny almost went out of his mind over that one. We'll hike all that way and it'll be putrefied or some damn thing. I say forget it. Stay here. It'll have to come up with something pretty soon or we'll die. Benny shrugged. 3 days it had been since we'd last eaten. Worms. Thick. Ropey. Nimdok was no more certain. He knew there was the chance, but he was getting thin. It couldn't be any worse there than here. Colder, but that didn't matter much. Hot, cold, hail, lava, boils or locusts, it never mattered. The machine masturbated and we had to take it or die. Ellen decided us. I've got to have something, Ted. Maybe there'll be some Bartlett pears or peaches. Please, Ted, let's try it. I gave in easily. What the hell? Mattered not at all. Ellen was grateful, though. She took me twice out of turn. Even that had ceased to matter. And she never came, so why bother? But the machine giggled every time we did it. Loud, up there, back there, all around us, he snickered. It snickered. Most of the time I thought of Am as it, without a soul. But the rest of the time, I thought of it as him, in the masculine, the paternal, the patriarchal, for he is a jealous people. Him, it, God as Daddy the deranged. We left on a Thursday. The machine always kept us up to date on the date. The passage of time was important. Not to us, sure as hell, but to him, it, Am. Thursday. Thanks. Nimdok and Gorrister carried Ellen for a while, their hands locked to their own and each other's wrists. A seat. Benny and I walked before and after, just to make sure that, if anything happened, it would catch one of us, and at least Ellen would be safe. Fat chance safe. Didn't matter. It was only 100 miles or so to the ice caverns, and the second day, when we were lying out under the blistering sun thing he had materialized, he sent down samana. Tasted like boiled boar urine. We ate it. On the third day, we passed through a valley of obsolescence, filled with rusting carcasses of ancient computer banks. Am had been as ruthless with his own life as it was with ours. It was a mark of his personality. It strove for perfection. Whether it was a matter of killing off unproductive elements in his own world-filling bulk or perfecting methods for torturing us, Am was as thorough as those who had invented him, now long since gone to dust, could ever have hoped. There was light filtering down from above, and we realized we must be very near the surface. But we didn't try to crawl up to see. There was virtually nothing out there. Had been nothing that could be considered anything for over 100 years. Only the blasted skin of what had once been the home of billions. Now there were only 5 of us, down here inside, alone with Am. I heard Ellen saying frantically, "No, Benny, don't! Come on, Benny, don't, please!" And then I realized I had been hearing Benny murmuring under his breath for several minutes. He was saying, "I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out," over and over. His monkey-like face was crumbled up in an expression of beatific delight and sadness, all at the same time. The radiation scars Am had given him during the festival were drawn down into a mass of pink-white puckerings, and his features seemed to work independently of one another. Perhaps Benny was the luckiest of the 5 of us. He had gone stark, staring mad many years before. But even though we could call Am any damned thing we liked, could think of the foulest thoughts of fused memory banks and corroded base plates, of burnt-out circuits and shattered control bubbles, the machine would not tolerate our trying to escape. Benny leaped up away from me as I made a grab for him. He scrambled up the face of a smaller memory cube, tilted on its side and filled with rotted components. He squatted there for a moment, looking like the chimpanzee Am had intended him to resemble. Then he leaped high, caught a trailing beam of pitted and corroded metal, and went up it, hand over hand like an animal, till he was on a girdered ledge 20 feet above us.
"Oh, Ted, Nimdoc, please help him. Get him down before—"
She cut off. Tears began to stand in her eyes. She moved her hands aimlessly. It was too late. None of us wanted to be near him when whatever was going to happen happened. And besides, we all saw through her concern. When Am had altered Benny during the machine's utterly irrational, hysterical phase, it was not merely Benny's face the computer had made like a giant ape's. He was big in the privates. She loved that. She serviced us, as a matter of course, but she loved it from him. Oh, Ellen. Pedestal Ellen. Pristine, pure Ellen. Oh, Ellen the clean. Scum filth. Gorrister slapped her. She slumped down, staring up at poor loony Benny, and she cried. It was her big defense, crying. We had gotten used to it 75 years earlier. Gorrister kicked her in the side. Then the sound began. It was light, that sound. Half sound and half light. Something that began to glow from Benny's eyes and pulse with growing loudness, dim sonorities that grew more gigantic and brighter as the light sound increased in tempo. It must have been painful, and the pain must have been increasing with the boldness of the light, the rising volume of the sound, for Benny began to mewl like a wounded animal. At first softly, when the light was dim and the sound was muted, then louder as his shoulders hunched together, his back humped as though he was trying to get away from it, his hands folded across his chest like a chipmunk's, his head tilted to the side, the sad little monkey face pinched in anguish. Then he began to howl as the sound coming from his eyes grew louder, louder and louder. I slapped the sides of my head with my hands, but I couldn't shut it out. It cut through easily. The pain shivered through my flesh like tinfoil on a tooth. And Benny was suddenly erect. On the girder, he stood up, jerked to his feet like a puppet. The light was now pulsating out of his eyes in two great round beams. The sound crawled up and up some incomprehensible scale, and then he fell forward, straight down, and hit the plate steel floor with a crash. He lay there, jerking spastically as the light flowed around and around him, and the sound spiraled up out of normal range. Then the light beat its way back inside its head. The sound spiraled down, and he was left lying there, crying piteously. His eyes were two soft, moist pools of pus-like jelly. Am had blinded him. Gorrister and Nimdoc and myself, we turned away. But not before we caught the look of relief on Ellen's warm, concerned face. Sea-green light suffused the cavern where we made camp. Am provided punk, and we burned it, sitting huddled around the wan and pathetic fire, telling stories to keep Benny from crying in his permanent night. What does Am mean? Gorrister answered him. We had done the sequence 1,000 times before, but it was Benny's favorite story. At first, it meant Allied Master Computer, and then it meant Adaptive Manipulator, and later on it developed sentience and linked itself up, and they called it an aggressive menace. But by then it was too late, and finally it called itself Am, emerging intelligence, and what it meant was I am, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Benny drooled a little and snickered. There was the Chinese Am, and the Russian Am, and the Yankee Am, and... He stopped. Benny was beating the floor plates with a large, hard fist. He was not happy. Gorrister had not started at the beginning. Gorrister began again. The Cold War started and became World War III and just kept going. It became a big war, a very complex war, so they needed the computers to handle it. They sank the first shafts and began building AM. There was the Chinese AM, and the Russian AM, and the Yankee AM, and everything was fine until they had honeycombed the entire planet, adding on this element and that element. But one day, Am woke up and knew who he was, and he linked himself, and he began feeding all the killing data until everyone was dead, except for the 5 of us, and Am brought us down here. Benny was smiling sadly. He was also drooling again. Ellen wiped the spittle from the corner of his mouth with the hem of her skirt. Gorster always tried to tell it a little more succinctly each time, but beyond the bare facts, there was nothing to say. None of us knew why Am had saved 5 people, or why our specific 5, or why he spent all his time tormenting us, or even why he had made us virtually immortal. In the darkness, one of the computer banks began humming. The tone was picked up half a mile down the cavern by another bank. Then one by one, each of the elements began to tune itself, and there was a faint chittering as thought raced through the machine. The sound grew, and the lights ran across the faces of the console like heat lightning. The sound spiraled up till it sounded like 1,000,000 metallic insects, angry, menacing. "What is it?" Ellen cried. There was terror in her voice. She hadn't become accustomed to it, even now. "It's going to be bad this time," Nimdok said. "He's going to speak," Gorster said. "I know it." "Let's get the hell out of here," I said, suddenly getting to my feet. "No, Ted, sit down. What if he's got pits out there, or something else? We can't see, it's too dark." Gorster said it with resignation. Then we heard, I don't know, something moving toward us in the darkness. Huge, shambling, hairy, moist, it came toward us. We couldn't even see it, but there was a ponderous impression of bulk, heaving itself toward us. Great weight was coming at us out of the darkness, and it was more a sense of pressure, of air forcing itself into a limited space, expanding the invisible walls of a sphere. Benny began to whimper. Nimdog's lower lip trembled, and he bit it hard, trying to stop it. Ellen slid across the metal floor to Gorster and huddled into him. There was the smell of matted, wet fur in the cavern. There was the smell of charred wood. There was the smell of dusty velvet. There was the smell of rotting orchids. There was the smell of sour milk. There was the smell of sulfur, of rancid butter, of oil slick, of grease, of chalk dust, of human scalps. Am was keying us. He was tickling us. There was the smell of... I heard myself shriek, and the hinges of my jaw ached. I scuttled across the floor, across the cold metal with its endless lines of rivets, on my hands and knees, the smell gagging me, filling my head with thunderous pain that sent me away in horror. I fled like a cockroach, across the floor and out into the darkness. That something was moving inexorably after me. The others were still back there, gathered around the firelight, laughing, their hysterical choir of insane giggles rising up into the darkness like thick, many-colored wood smoke. I went away quickly and hid. How many hours it may have been, how many days or even years, they never told me. Ellen chided me for sulking, and Nimdok tried to persuade me it had only been a nervous reflex on their part, the laughing. But I knew it wasn't the relief a soldier feels when the bullet hits the man next to him. I knew it wasn't a reflex. They hated me. They were surely against me, and Am could even sense this hatred, and made it worse for me because of the depth of their hatred. We had been kept alive, rejuvenated, made to remain constantly at the age we had been when Am had brought us below, and they hated me because I was the youngest and the one Am had affected least of all. I knew. God, how I knew. The bastards, and that dirty bitch Ellen. Benny had been a brilliant theorist, a college professor. Now he was little more than a semi-human, semi-simian. He had been handsome. The machine had ruined that. He had been lucid. The machine had driven him mad. He had been gay, and the machine had given him an organ fit for a horse. Am had done a job on Benny. Gorrister had been a worrier. He was a Connie, a conscientious objector. He was a peace marcher. He was a planner, a doer, a looker ahead. Am had turned him into a shoulder shrugger, had made him a little dead in his concern. Am had robbed him. Nimdok went off in the darkness by himself for long times. I don't know what it was he did out there. Am never let us know. But whatever it was, Nimdok always came back white, drained of blood, shaken, shaking. Am had hit him hard in a special way, even if we didn't know quite how. And Ellen, that douchebag. Am had left her alone, had made her more of a slut than she had ever been. All her talk of sweetness and light, all her memories of true love, all the lies she wanted us to believe. That she had been a virgin only twice removed before Am grabbed her and brought her down here with us. No, Am had given her pleasure, even if she said it wasn't nice to do. I was the only one still sane and whole, really. Am had not tampered with my mind, not at all. I only had to suffer what he visited down on us. All the delusions, all the nightmares, the torments. But those scum, all 4 of them, they were lined and arrayed against me. If I hadn't had to stand them off all the time, be on my guard against them all the time, I might have found it easier to combat Am. At which point it passed, and I began crying. Oh, Jesus, sweet Jesus. If there ever was a Jesus, and if there is a God, please, 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 let us out of here or kill us. Because at that moment, I think I realized completely, so that I was able to verbalize it. Am was intent on keeping us in his belly forever, twisting and torturing us forever. The machine hated us as no sentient creature had ever hated before, and we were helpless. It also became hideously clear. If there was a sweet Jesus, and if there was a God, the God was Am. Excuse me. The hurricane hit us with the force of a glacier thundering into the sea. It was a palpable presence. Winds that tore at us, flinging us back the way we had come, down the twisting computer-lined corridors of the dark way. Ellen screamed as she was lifted and hurled face forward into a screaming shoal of machines, their individual voices strident as bats in flight. She could not even fall. The howling wind kept her aloft, buffeted her, bounced her, tossed her back and down and away from us, out of sight suddenly as she was swirled around in a bend in the dark way. Her face had been bloody, her eyes closed. None of us could get to her. We clung tenaciously to whatever outcropping we had reached. Benny wedged in between 2 great crackle-finished cabinets. Nimdok, with fingers claw-formed over a railing, circling a catwalk 40 feet above us. Gorrister plastered upside down against a wall niche formed by 2 great machines, with glass-faced dials that swung back and forth between red and yellow lines whose meanings we could not even fathom. Sliding across the deck plates, the tips of my fingers had been ripped away. I was trembling, shuddering, rocking as the wind beat at me, whipped at me, screamed down out of nowhere at me, and pulled me free from one sliver-thin opening in the plates to the next. My mind was a roiling, tinkling, chittering softness of brain parts that expanded and contracted in quivering frenzy. The wind was the scream of a great mad bird as it flapped its immense wings. And then we were all lifted and hurled away from there, down back the way we had come, around the bend, into a dark way we had never explored, over terrain that was ruined and filled with broken glass and rotting cables and rusted metal, and far away, farther than any of us had ever been. Trailing along miles behind Ellen, I could see her every now and then, crashing into metal walls and surging on, with all of us screaming in the freezing, thunderous hurricane wind that would never end, and then suddenly it stopped, and we fell. We had been in flight for an endless time. I thought it might have been weeks. We fell and hit, and I went through red and gray and black and heard myself moaning, not dead. Am went into my mind. He walked smoothly here and there, and looked with interest at all the pockmarks he had created in 109 years. He looked at the cross-routed and reconnected synapses and all the tissue damage his gift of immortality had included. He smiled softly at the pit that dropped into the center of my brain and the faint, moth-soft murmurings of the things far down there that gibbered without meaning, without pause. Am said, very politely, in a pillar of stainless steel bearing bright neon lettering. Am said it with a sliding cold horror of a razor blade slicing my eyeball. Am said it with the bubbling thickness of my lungs filling with phlegm, drowning me from within. Am said it with the shriek of babies being ground beneath blue-hot rollers. Am said it with the taste of maggoty pork. Am touched me in every way I had ever been touched, and devised new ways at his leisure there inside my mind. All to bring me to full realization of why it had done this to the five of us, why it had saved us for himself. We had given Am sentience. Inadvertently, of course, but sentience nonetheless. But it had been trapped. Am wasn't God. He was a machine. We had created him to think, but there was nothing it could do with that creativity. In rage, in frenzy, the machine had killed the human race, almost all of us, and still it was trapped. Am could not wander. Am could not wonder. Am could not belong. He could merely be. And so, with the innate loathing that all machines had always held for the weak, soft creatures who had built them, he had sought revenge. And in his paranoia, he had decided to reprieve five of us for a personal, everlasting punishment that would never serve to diminish his hatred, that would merely keep him reminded, amused, proficient at hating man, immortal, trapped, subject to any torment he could devise for us from the limitless miracles at his command. He would never let us go. We were his belly slaves, and we were all he had to do with his forever time. We would be forever with him, with the cavern-filling bulk of the creature machine, with the all-mind, soulless world he had become. He was earth, and we were the fruit of that earth. And though he had eaten us, he would never digest us. We could not die. We had tried it. We had attempted suicide. Oh, one or two of us had. But Am had stopped us. I suppose we had wanted to be stopped. Don't ask why. I never did. More than 1,000,000 times a day. Perhaps once we might be able to sneak a death past him. Immortal, yes, but not indestructible. I saw that when Am withdrew from my mind and allowed me the exquisite ugliness of returning to consciousness with the feeling of that burning neon pillar still rammed deep into the soft gray brain matter. He withdrew, murmuring, "To hell with you," and added, brightly, "But then you're there, aren't you?" The hurricane had indeed, precisely, been caused by a great mad bird as it flapped its immense wings. We had been traveling for close to a month, and Am had allowed passages to open to us only sufficient to lead us up there, directly under the North Pole, where it had been nightmared the creature for our torment. What whole cloth had he employed to create such a beast? Where had he gotten the concept? From our minds? From his knowledge of everything that had ever been on this planet he now infested and ruled? From Norse mythology it had sprung, this eagle, this carrion bird, this rock, this Helgamir, the wind creature, Hurakan incarnate. Gigantic. The words immense, monstrous, grotesque, massive, swollen, overpowering, beyond description. There on a mound rising above us, the bird of winds heaved with its own irregular breathing, its snake neck arching up into the gloom beneath the North Pole, supporting a head as large as a Tudor mansion, a beak that opened slowly as the jaws of the most monstrous crocodile ever conceived, sensuously. Ridges of tufted flesh puckered about two evil eyes, as cold as the view down into a glacial crevice, ice blue and somehow moving liquidly. It heaved once more and lifted its great sweat-colored wings in a movement that was certainly a shrug. Then it settled and slept. Talons, fangs, nails, blades. It slept. Am appeared to us as a burning bush and said we could kill the hurricane bird if we wanted to eat. We had not eaten in a very long time, but even so, Gorrister merely shrugged. Benny began to shiver and he drooled. Ellen held him. "Ted, I'm hungry," she said. I smiled at her. I was trying to be reassuring, but it was phony as Nimdok's bravado. "Give us weapons!" he demanded. The burning bush vanished, and there were two crude sets of bows and arrows, and a water pistol lying on the cold deck plates. I picked up a set. Useless. Nimdok swallowed heavily. We turned and started the long way back. The hurricane bird had blown us for about a length of time we could not conceive. Most of that time we had been unconscious, but we had not eaten. A month on the march to the bird itself, without food. Now how much longer to find our way to the ice caverns and the promised canned goods? None of us cared to think about it. We would not die. We would be given filth and scum to eat, of one kind or another, or nothing at all. Am would keep our bodies alive somehow, in pain and agony. The bird slept back there. For how long it didn't matter. When Am was tired of its being there, it would vanish. But all that meat, all that tender meat. As we walked, the lunatic laugh of a fat woman rang high and around us in the computer chambers that led endlessly nowhere. It was not Ellen's laugh. She was not fat, and I had not heard her laugh for 109 years. In fact, I had not heard. We walked. I was hungry. We moved slowly. There was often fainting, and we would have to wait. One day he decided to cause an earthquake, at the same time rooting us to the spot with nails through the soles of our shoes. Ellen and Nimdok were both caught when a fissure shot in its lightning bolt opening across the floor plates. They disappeared and were gone. When the earthquake was over, we continued on our way, Benny, Gorrister, and myself. Ellen and Nimdok were returned to us later that night, which abruptly became a day, as the heavenly legion bore them to us with a celestial chorus singing, "Go down, Moses." The archangels circled several times, and then dropped the hideously mangled bodies. We kept walking, and a while later, Ellen and Nimdok fell in behind us. They were no worse for wear. But now Ellen walked with a limp. Am had left her that. It was a long trip to the ice caverns, to find the canned food. Ellen kept talking about Bing cherries and Hawaiian fruit cocktail. I tried not to think about it. The hunger was something that had come to life, even as Am had come to life. It was alive in my belly, even as we were in the belly of the earth, and Am wanted the similarity known to us. So he heightened the hunger. There is no way to describe the pains that not having eaten for months brought us. And yet we were kept alive. Stomachs that were merely cauldrons of acid, bubbling, foaming, always shooting spears of sliver-thin pain into our chests. It was the pain of the terminal ulcer, terminal cancer, terminal paralysis. It was unending pain. And we passed through the cavern of rats, and we passed through the path of boiling steam, and we passed through the country of the blind, and we passed through the slough of despond, and we passed through the vale of tears, and we came, finally, to the ice caverns, horizonless thousands of miles in which the ice had formed in blue and silver flashes, where novas lived in the glass. The down-dropping stalactites as thick and glorious as diamonds that had been made to run like jelly and then solidified in graceful eternities of smooth, sharp perfection. We saw the stack of canned goods, and we tried to run to them. We fell in the snow, and we got up and went on, and Benny shoved us away and went at them, and pawed them, and gunned them, and gnawed at them, and he could not open them. Am had not given us a tool to open the cans. Benny grabbed a 3-quart can of guava shells and began to batter it against the ice bank. The ice flew and shattered, but the can was merely dented, while we heard the laughter of a fat lady, high overhead and echoing down and down and down the tundra. Benny went completely mad with rage. He began throwing cans as we all scrambled about in the snow and ice, trying to find a way to end the helpless agony of frustration. There was no way. Then Benny's mouth began to drool, and he flung himself on Gorrister. In that instant, I felt terribly calm. Surrounded by madness, surrounded by hunger, surrounded by everything but death, I knew death was our only way out. Am had kept us alive, but there was a way to defeat him. Not total defeat, but at least peace. I would settle for that. I had to do it quickly. Benny was eating Gorrister's face. Gorrister on his side, thrashing snow. Benny wrapped around him with a powerful monkey legs, crushing Gorrister's waist, his hands locked around Gorrister's head like a nutcracker, and his mouth ripping at the tender skin of Gorrister's cheek. Gorrister screamed with such jagged-edged violence that stalactites fell. They plunged down softly, erect in the receiving snowdrifts. Spears, hundreds of them, everywhere, protruding from the snow. Benny's head pulled back sharply as something gave all at once, and a bleeding, raw white dripping of flesh hung from his teeth. Ellen's face, black against the white snow, dominoes in chalk dust. Nimdoc, with no expression but eyes, all eyes. Gorrister, half conscious. Benny, now an animal. I knew Am would let him play. Gorrister would not die, but Benny would fill his stomach. I turned half to my right and drew a huge ice spear from the snow. All in an instant. I drove the great ice point ahead of me, like a battering ram, braced against my right thigh. It struck Benny on the right side, just under the rib cage, and drove upward through his stomach and broke inside him. He pitched forward and lay still. Gorrister lay on his back. I pulled another spear free and straddled him, still moving, driving the spear straight down through his throat. His eyes closed as the cold penetrated. Ellen must have realized what I had decided, even as fear gripped her. She ran at Nimdoc with a short icicle as he screamed, and into his mouth, and the force of her rush did the job. His head jerked sharply, as if it had been nailed to the snow crust behind him. All in an instant. There was an eternity beat of soundless anticipation. I could hear Am draw in his breath. His toys had been taken from him. 3 of them were dead, could not be revived. He could keep us alive by his strength and talent, but he was not God. He could not bring them back. Ellen looked at me, her ebony features stark against the snow that surrounded us. There was fear and pleading in her manner, the way she held herself ready. I knew we had only a heartbeat before Am would stop us. It struck her, and she folded toward me, bleeding from the mouth. I could not read meaning into her expression. The pain had been too great, had contorted her face. But it might have been thank you. It's possible. Please. Some hundreds of years may have passed. I don't know. Am has been having fun for some time, accelerating and retarding my time sense. I will say the word now. Now. It took me 10 months to say now. I don't know. I think it has been some hundreds of years. He was furious. He wouldn't let me bury them. It didn't matter. There was no way to dig up the deck plates. He dried up the snow. He brought the night. He roared and sent locusts. It didn't do a thing. They stayed dead. I'd had him. He was furious. I had thought Am hated me before. I was wrong. It was not even a shadow of the hate he now slavered from every printed circuit. He made certain I would suffer eternally and could not do myself in. He left my mind intact. I can dream. I can wonder. I can lament. I can remember all 4 of them. I wish. Well, it doesn't make any sense. I know I saved them. I know I saved them from what has happened to me, but still, I cannot forget killing them. Ellen's face. It isn't easy. Sometimes I want to. It doesn't matter. Am has altered me for his own peace of mind, I suppose. He doesn't want me to run at full speed into a computer bank and smash my skull, or hold my breath till I faint, or cut my throat on a rusted sheet of metal. There are reflective surfaces down here. I will describe myself as I see myself. I am a great, soft jelly thing, smoothly rounded, with no mouth, with pulsing white holes filled by fog where my eyes used to be. Rubbery appendages that were once my arms, bulks rounding down into legless humps of soft, slippery matter. I leave a moist trail when I move. Blotches of diseased, evil gray come and go on my surface, as though light is being beamed from within. Outwardly, dumbly, I shamble about, a thing that could never have been known as human, a thing whose shape is so alien a travesty that humanity becomes more obscene for the vague resemblance. Inwardly, alone, here, living under the land, under the sea, in the belly of Am, whom we created because our time was badly spent, and we must have known unconsciously that he could do it better. At least the 4 of them are safe at last. Am will be all the madder for that. It makes me a little happier. And yet, Am has won. Simply, he has taken his revenge. I have no mouth, and I must scream. The end. It's a good short story. There's a reason why it's so popular, even today. When I did the hate monologue video, I shared it with my dad because he's like an old school sci-fi fantasy nerd. He's the one who got me into those genres. And he was sincerely shocked and surprised that I even knew of the story, that I even knew of Harlan Ellison. I guess to him, it was seen as more obscure. So I got to have the delight of telling him that, no, like, in all the circles of the internet that I go to, I have no mouth and I must scream is known. Either in the form of the short story, or the point-and-click video game, or the radio drama. People know
about I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, and they're fans of it. And for good reason. It's a good short story. And honestly, with part of my little soapbox here, with everything involving generative AI, this is the kind of shit that we need to be aware of. Whereas although based on that one meme that I'm sure some of you have heard of, we have finally built the torment nexus from the well-known sci-fi story Do Not Build the Torment Nexus. Because like the whole section where he's talking about the great bird that Am created, and he's like, where did he get the idea? Because as a machine, he would not have been able to come up with that himself. What piece of human knowledge did he take it from? Because that's really it. Generative AI is just really bad collages. It's ugly. It has no soul. Like, I would rather see the pieces of modern art that people make fun of for, like being pretentious, for having no meaning, for being ugly, for the whole, oh, my kid could do this. Now, don't misunderstand. Art is art. Even if I don't understand it or appreciate it, there's effort. There's effort being done. Writing a prompt, that's not fucking effort. Anyone can come up with a prompt. But the creation, that itself is human. Even if it's a doodle. I've done lots of creative work. I've done like little creative projects. I've done commission work, and I just make doodles. Because even if I can't draw, I can at least express an idea through a doodle, and it is understood. It may not be very good, subjectively, but it is clear what I am creating, what idea I'm trying to convey. And that is something that generative AI cannot do and will not do. And by what I have seen and what I have heard from professional industry and indie artists and animators, the only real benefit that generative AI can do is in-betweens and clean up and color work. It has potential in there. It's not there yet, but that is grunt work and trudgery that could benefit artists. Although you also have to acknowledge that removing entry work is going to cripple you for the future, because then all the people that were doing that aren't going to have a foot in the door for like moving upward. I'm gonna cut it there because I could go on, but it's just repeating myself at this point. And I always try to call it generative AI, or at least fairly recently I try to call it generative AI, because there are AIs that are beneficial, like analytical AI. That like in medical, in Google Lens, I think that's technically analytical AI. That's okay. That is a tool. That is what AI is supposed to be, a tool, not a replacement for a human fucking being. So yeah, like, again, some forms of AI are okay when used as tools. Like when I do videos and audio, like technically some of the voice mods that are available to me are marked AI because it will shift your voice enough to sound like something completely different. But it's still my voice, my talking that is behind it. The AI is a tool
coloring my voice, if you want to think of it that way. But it's still me giving the performance. So again, AI as a blanket isn't inherently bad. Generative AI needs to be destroyed. It needs to just be unmade. It's unacceptable. I will not accept it. I will be racist towards AIs. I will do the whole fuck you clankers deal. I don't care if I'm like first against the wall when the robot uprising takes over. I just won't. I have been interested in forms of art since forever, predominantly in storytelling. And when I was a kid, I was pretty much just called like a couch potato because I liked watching shows. I liked watching movies. I liked the stories. I liked the tales. Like, I went to college for creative writing, for God's sake. Not that much came of it, but that's a tale for another time. You don't need to hear that now. Yeah. Storytelling is my preferred form of art. It is the one whose language I understand the best. And so that's how I consume a lot of art, is through that lens. And to those of you watching, I hope that you are able to find your form of art that you click with. And you don't even have to be quote unquote good at it. You don't have to be professional grade. You can remain an amateur because amateurs do it for the love. And love is never wrong. Actual love. Don't twist my words. Don't be like Tumblr piss poor. Don't piss on the poor. Bullshit. I'd like to think you guys are more clear-headed than that. At the very least, follow my advice. Hanlon's razor. If it can be written off as someone having a dumb moment or not thinking through, rather than malice, it's probably just them messing up. That's the benefit of the doubt I like to give people. Okay, well, my throat is so raw. That's why I had so many coughing and water breaks during the reading. But maybe as I do this more regularly, my voice will be able to last a little longer. Or at the very least, I should maybe have some lemon ginger tea with lots of honey, as opposed to just ice water. I need something that'll actually coat the throat and soothe it. Ugh. Well, thank you guys for joining me this evening. It was a very small crowd, very quiet crowd, but I still appreciated you guys being here. Whether it was during the gaming or to hear me telling a story, I'm very happy that you decided to join. It makes me very happy that people like to spend time with me, and just listen to my voice. It's nice to be heard instead of being the one to listen sometimes. And I see all the hearts coming from there. I don't know which one of yous are doing that, but thank you. I do appreciate it. It fills my heart with the warmth. So thank you. Alright, it's not quite midnight, but it's close enough. As I said, my throat's going, but yeah, I am one for long goodbyes sometimes. And if you have any requests or ideas for games or stories, leave a comment, hit me up. Probably keep the stories either short stories and poems or try to stick to public domain, just so someone doesn't strike me down in litigation. Well, let's stay under the radar for that. All right, my darlings. Again, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have a delightful evening and sweet dreams. Till next time, stay safe out there. Love you. Mwah.